Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Tropical Forge. So I have been doing a lot of freeze drying since my freeze dryer is back up and going. It was down for a good bit of the summer, which was a huge bummer. I was filling my freezers with things that I typically would just get right into the freeze dryer. One of those things was onion tops. So I got a bunch of onions at the auction this summer. I took the onions, cut them up, and I had frozen them that we can use in meals. And then these tops, I didn't want to go to waste, so I threw them in the freezer. Finally was able to get them into the freeze dryer. So what I'm doing, and I pretty much use the same process. Anytime I'm gonna freeze dry and powder something, it'll either go in the freezer until the freeze dryer is available for it, or it'll go straight into the freeze dryer. I've shown my rack before for how I pre-freeze things, so I'll show you that quick. But basically, for things like this, especially if I'm gonna do something to make a seasoning with, I just freeze dry these, pop them in the Vitamix, make a powder. And then I don't usually make like seasonings all together. I usually keep like garlic and onion and like cayenne peppers and things. And then when Zad's cooking, he can just add whatever he wants to the meals. So let me show you the freeze drying tray that goes in the freezer. I'll link it in the description. It's from a company called Frozen Right. So I have yogurt and tomatoes in here right now, but this rack, it holds 4 trays for the medium dryer. Now, if I get another freeze dryer that holds 5 trays, I'm assuming they probably have one for that. I haven't looked. But that has worked out great. I always pre-freeze, or I would say 95% of the time I pre-freeze. You don't have to pre-freeze. Your machine will freeze for you. Right now I have my machine on defrost because I just pulled those out. I don't always do a defrost, but I have things that I want to keep moving through because we have a little bit more of a hog that's coming and I need to make some freezer space, and you just never know what you're going to run on. So I always like to have a little bit of freezer space available just in case, because, you know, I don't want to pass on something because I'm out of freezer space. So we are going to put these through the Vitamix, and then I'll show you what they look like in their powdered form. All right, so this is my 4 trays of onion tops. So I always talk about how freeze drying and making powders saves so much space because, you know, that was, I don't know, 3 bags, gallon bags that were in my freezer and is now going to fit into this pint jar. All right. So I took whatever I said, 2 or 3 gallon bags of green onion tops, and they now are in this pint jar. So I will label this green onion powder, and then Zad can mix it in with the garlic powder that I've made. He could mix it in with, we have dried cayenne peppers in the pantry. I have lemon peppers, little yellow lemon peppers that I freeze dried and powdered last year. So he could mix any of that into a meal. So a couple things about putting powders into your pantry. I don't use a moisture or oxygen absorber. If I put it in a jar, I don't vacuum seal it or anything because I know we're going to use this in the next year or two. If I had an excessive amount of this, then I would probably put it in a Mylar bag and label it, you know, with its year and what it is, and put an oxygen absorber in it, put it through the impulse sealer, all of that kind of procedure. But for something like this, it's not going to take us very long to use this up. We'll use this in whatever meals. Now, we could make some pre-mixed seasonings if we wanted to. I just tend to typically put just single things. I do this a lot of times with canning too. I don't make a lot of really fancy canned things. We make just very simple single ingredients, and then Zad can do whatever he wants with it. So this is really so simple. It's a great way to save space. I know freeze dryers are really expensive, but if you have the opportunity to get one, typically Harvest Right runs a sale in November, so I'll be sharing about that when they put out the details. It used to be $500 off, usually around Black Friday. So if that is the case, I will share that information with you, and I'll drop my affiliate link in the description. If you have any questions about how to use a freeze dryer, I've had mine for almost 2 years. I've had plenty of things that we've had to fix along the way, just kind of like normal maintenance things that went bad or whatever. So it's a great machine. Harvest Right's customer service is really pretty good. They followed up with me several times while I was trying to fix my last issue, which was with the drain plug and the tube. And it cost me like $17 to have it shipped here to fix that. So If you have questions about freeze drying, how to use powders or whatever, let me know. We'll see you guys next time.